Oh, hey, what's up there, buddy? I just finished my colonoscopy prep, and I have a long time to sit in one position. Let's talk Rakdos, Lord of Riots. Now, this guy, this bad mother you-know-what, this guy's been around since 2012, and he's getting a reprint in Ravnica Remastered. And listen, back then, this was a different time, brother. It was then, and this is now. Different times, you see? Rakdos is a 6/6 demon, which honestly is pretty undersized as he's about as big as a house in the art. Plus, you know, he's been hitting the weights with arms like that, dude. He's clanging, banging, and he's swanging around his big, dope monster axe side thing. Now you got two arts and you got a retro frame. In this art, Rakdos is partying with his bros. They're raving out after a Limp Bizkit show at Woodstock 99. It's kind of hard to see his face on the card, but that's why I zoomed in on the art so you can check him out. Now you also have this art from Commander Legends and the Rakdos Guild Kit. In this rendition, Rakdos is showing off those thighs and his nips, dude. This pick is a little thirsty, man. It's a little posed, but that's what you do when you're jacked out of your mind on Rakdos cult juices. Heck yeah, man. Let's read this dang beast. But first, like, subscribe. You can buy me a coffee at the link in the description and force all your friends to watch my videos for the algorithm. Alright, here we go. Rakdos, Lord of Riots. Black, black, red, red for a legendary creature demon. It's a 6/6. You can't cast this spell unless an opponent lost life this turn, you idiot. Has flying and trample. Creature spells you cast cost one less to cast for each one life your opponents have lost this turn. Okay, this is a big 6/6 for 4 mana, pretty aggressive if you ask me. But there is that little caveat. An opponent needs to lose life first, or you can't cast them. But guess what? Damage causes loss of life. So the goal is to get this guy out on turn 3 or 4, start accruing insane value with that second ability. But first, a couple rulings around this fella. Rakdos can be put onto the battlefield by another spell or ability even if no opponent has lost life this turn, so you can reanimate it, but that's not as germane if he's in the command zone. You can also get him out with Hellkite Courser. This thing is just a big old dragon. When it enters the battlefield, you may put a commander you own from the command zone onto the battlefield. It gains haste, return it to the command zone at the beginning of the next end step. I like this Courser, man. I like the Courser when your commander is a little more expensive. Rakdos is going to get eaten up by removal because of that second ability, so he's going to get expensive anyway. Alright, second ruling, if there are additional costs to cast a creature spell, such as the kicker cost or commander tax, apply those increases before applying cost reductions. So if you've decided to kick your Null Priest of Oblivion, which is 1 in a black for a creature vampire cleric, has kicker for 3 in a black with Menace and Lifelink, when Null Priest of Oblivion enters the battlefield, if it was kicked, return target creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield. And your opponent lost 6 life that turn, then this would cost 2 mana, dude. This also works for X spells like Orcus, Prince of Undeath. X, 2 black and a red for a legendary creature demon. It's a 5/3 with flying and tramp stamps. When it enters the battlefield, choose 1. Each other creature gets -X until end of turn. You lose X life. Return up to X target creature cards with total mana value X or less from your graveyard to the battlefield. They gain haste until end of turn. You can end up saving a heap of mana on this guy. Now this guy, the Lord of Riots, can be built in a variety of ways. The idea is to get a 2 mana rock out there, ideally a rock that produces our colors, then turn 3 this man is coming down. The problem with that strategy is that you need an impactful creature on turn 1 that can damage your opponents or otherwise cause a loss of life, otherwise you can't cast the guy. Little evasive creatures like this are fine, and you feel like you're doing a lot early game, you know, you're not playing the land and passing the turn. The problem is drawing them late game like, oh lord, what have I done? You also have the Changeling Outcast. He can't be blocked, dude. Don't even try. Look at this gonzo character out there, the Spear Spewer, man. He's spewing all over the floor. He's got a Defender. Tap, he deals 1 damage to each player. There are tons of these little pingers out there. You can pick your poison with these guys. So what are we casting with all this cost reduction? Well, artifact creatures are so fun, buddy. You got the Solemn, the Simulacrum. You think you got him, but you can't hack him. Now, I've always been a fan of Meteor Golem, but imagine a Meteor Golem coming down on turn 5, blasting everybody right in the pinky, brother. When Meteor Golem enters the battlefield, destroy target non-land permanent on opponent controls. I actually have always liked this card. I think it's a great budget card, and it's great removal, man. So basically what you're doing, you're capitalizing on cheapening your generic mana cost for your creature spells. When Rakdos starts swinging, you're getting free duplicates, man. As any bar owner in Miami will tell you, Nicky G loves his free duplicates. Now, if you want to be a real monster, you can lean into big old Eldrazi. Get your Void Winnower out there for just a few mana. I like the Void Winnower because everybody hates it. That's why I like it. Nobody can do anything. They have to cast from just half their potential card pool. Now, keep in mind some of the newer Titans, you'd have to add colorless mana to your mana base in order to be able to cast them. Now, both of those strategies are viable, but you're probably better off concentrating on one creature type, either Artifact Creatures, Eldrazi, or you can start leaning into sweet demons. Can you imagine getting a Bloodthirster out there for 1 red mana? Would that make you feel good, you disgusting animal monster cat litter boy? The cool thing about demons is that they have some tribal payoffs too, like a more different Rakdos, Rakdos the Showstopper. 4 black and a red, for a legendary creature demon it's a 6/6 with flying and trample stamples. When this guy enters the battlefield, flip a coin for each creature that isn't a demon, devil, or imp. Destroy each creature whose coin comes up tails. Get this guy out, clear half the board. Or check out this guy, you get the Dread Cacao Demon. 7 black, 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 for a creature demon it's an 8/8. When this guy enters the battlefield, if you cast it from your hand, destroy all creatures your opponents control, then tap all other creatures you control. Interesting. 9 mana, but with that cost reduction and a little luck you can get this out. 3 mana board wipe with an 8/8 body attached, dude. How about this guy, this goofy looking guy, the Infernal Sovereign? He's out there with a flaming flail, dude. 4 black, black, for a creature demon it's a 6/6 with flying and trample. Skip your draw step. If you get a flaming flail, go see a doctor, okay? That's a serious medical condition. Whenever you play a land or cast a spell, you draw a card and lose 1 life. Dominaria was his to conquer. The Phyrexians were merely the latest fools to stand in his way. This guy's a great little draw engine in a deck like this because you tend to empty your hand casting all these free spells. You also have all the damage doubling and damage increasing effects in red, but remember, you gotta read them, and they should probably be creatures. If they hit non-combat damage, you know, that's a different deck, dude. We're mostly doing combat damage. You ever hear of the Angrath's Marauders? 5 red red for a creature, human pirate, it's a 4/4. If a source you control will deal damage to a permanent or player, it deals double that damage to that permanent or player instead. Dang, this card is mana intensive unless it only costs 2 mana because you did some damage with your commander. Now the only problem with a deck like this is that you're going to empty your hand. You're just ping-ponging spells out there, dude. You're going nuts. So you definitely want to be drawing cards. You need this guy, the Dragon Mage. 5 red red for a creature. He's a dragon wizard, just like old Nicky G. He's got flying. Whenever he deals combat damage to a player, each player discards their hand, then draws 7 cards. Wheel away your empty hand. Everybody loves wheels, right? Now this might be the perfect deck for the Knoll Spine Dragon, and I'm going to tell you why. It's 5 red red for a creature dragon. It has flying. Whenever this guy enters the battlefield, you may discard your hand, draw cards equal to the damage dealt to target opponent this turn. It's a 7/5, man. So this is a big evasive flyer that basically comes down, and you can, if you hit with your commander during the turn, you cast his second turn, it's going to cost 2 red red. You basically just wheel yourself, and you're just a happy little camper, buddy. Yeah, man, I like the old art for Knoll Spine Dragon. Look at that, dude. This is back in the old days when magic art was magic art. This is back in the days of Shadowmoor, brother. Anyways, this is a fun, powerful, classic commander you can take in a few different directions. You can customize it to your budget. You can do whatever you want, man. You're just basically cheapening the spells and creature spells you cast, and that's awesome. You can go with demons, you can go with Eldrazi, you can go with artifact creatures, you can go with any combination of the above. And you're saying to yourself, why don't you build a deck list, Nicky G? Why don't you show us what it's all about? Alright, man, I will. I'm going to link it in the description. You know, it's not a Bible, it's not the most optimized thing in the world, but it's a nice little budget deck. So Rakdos is also a bit of a magnet, you gotta know that. He gets all the swords and all the paths, so stick in some greaves and some boots, man. Maybe some tricky stuff to protect your commander, you're good to go. So take care out there, bros. Be excellent to each other, as Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure said. It's Nicky G for Better Commander, signing off.